There you go. Go ahead.
Okay, you're good now.
So we need motion to approval for the agenda or no?
Yep.
Okay.
Do we need to?
I'll move it.
Doug?
Okay.
There's LeBlanc. He finally turns up with wearing a lampshade.
Do we need a seconder? No,
I'll second it if it's,
Joe.
get
Thanks,
on with
Joe.
it.
Okay, any declarations of procurement?
Pecuniary.
I hate that
Yeah,
word.
we're not getting any money.
Interest and the general nature therefore? No.
Done.
Approval of the minutes from the last meeting, which was October 28th, 2021.
Ooh, a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mark?
I can't remember that far back.
So Doug and Mark.
Anyways,
Yes.
Okay.
Mark?
Mark. Any, I guess we have no delegations.
No.
Okay, number six, municipal update from Preston.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. The first
You're welcome.
attachment in this document here is the same update I provided last October at our last meeting. And it just outlined a lot of work done in the rural areas in 2021. I was just wondering if anybody had any questions or concerns about that before I move on to the 2022 plan.
I do. From the, can we talk about the last minute or do we stay with this plan?
Guess we
The-
moved
Well,
on to
the
this
stuff
plan.
that's, yeah, the stuff that was already done. Director, we talked about Stony Point Road a number of years ago, and you said you were gonna have it redone this year. It was redone. But apparently there was a number of culverts and ditching that wasn't done, and then a couple of homes have been flooded. And within the last couple of weeks, and some of the town staff was there. Is there any news on how it can be remedied so that their basements don't flood again?
Well, I'm not aware of any flooding on Stony Point Road. I don't remember any calls coming in. Typically what's happened is it's no fault of the culverts other than with the weather conditions and melt conditions, the drainage systems just can't keep up. So ditches are typically built for a small storm event, and overland and roads take the bulk of that extra water. I'm not familiar with any, I don't remember any calls coming in down there.
Well, there was one of the town supervisors from Roads and Grounds that was there talking with the neighbors and taking pictures last week. And they sent me a bunch of the pictures, not the town staff, but the property owner did. And apparently he had called me 2 years ago. I had talked to yourself and Mr. Fletcher, and apparently was going to be taken care of the following year, which the road was resurfaced, just put the first coat, but the culverts were done, and now his basement's flooded, and because of the culvert, I don't understand who it is. Pretty good, it's Sammy, so you probably know who he is, and that's on that address. So got the calls from him, got the pictures, and you can see the town vehicle right in the pictures, and he was there talking with him, taking pictures, and they said they were going to send the backhoe the very next day, but the backhoe has still not shown up. Maybe it's because we don't have the new one yet that we approved.
But if you could just send me an email with that information, I can certainly look into it.
Yeah.
But we've had a lot of calls about flooding, a lot of roads.
Yeah, I know, all over the
A
place.
couple of perfect storms, really, because we got a lot of rain and a lot of melt. And it just
That's-
overwhelmed systems all over the place.
That's what I told them.
Is there any questions about the 2020 work lists that were sent out?
The,
If not, I'll just move on. to the-
Catherine's Road, and George's Road was redone this year, but I drove it. I don't know if it's the frost or what it is, but at the bottom end of it, it's where it was last done. Like if you drive it now, it looks like you're on a wavy road. Like there's 6 to 8 inch dips in it, just dipping like that. Is it because of the type of material or it's sat too long?
Well, some of that road is DST'd, some was only single. And I drove that road just last week. I didn't see any huge issues. There's some obviously deflections because it's a municipal through a third level road kind of thing. It's not perfect like a highway or the 401 obviously, but I didn't notice anything particular. So I'll see if they noticed anything in their minimum maintenance inspections.
Sounds like
thank you.
that road, sounds to me like that's one road where we might not need as many speed limit signs. I mean, I'm rather in favor of road conditions determining how fast people go. They go by my place trying to get airborne.
All right, carry on, Preston.
Okay, so a few weeks ago, I sent everybody in this rural advisory meeting kind of an update email because it was quite a while since we met. And I just kind of wanted to get some information out there before we had this meeting. Did anybody have any questions on anything laid out in that email or kind of our objectives to try to improve things as we move forward?
Well, I think
Yes.
okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The one on the ground. Go ahead.
Joe, go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead. Okay, well, I just would say that I think, there's always room for some little bit of improvement someplace, but my feeling is that we're doing a pretty good job on these roads and maybe doing too good a job on some of them. In that, as I say, the most dangerous thing I do is go to my mailbox because I have to cross the road. And there's a lot of vehicles going by here that well over even 80. And there's no shoulder on the road. Some of them really seriously deserve to end up upside down in the ditch. But people are going to go as fast as the road surface will permit. And I don't think we're ever going to have enough policemen around to change that. So I'd say if I've got a complaint, you're doing too good a job.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
Thanks.
Do you happen to notice, do they come from the west more or the
Oh, yeah,
east?
they come off the hill and Crammy up by my Crammy barn. And they're just trying to get airborne when they hit the end of my driveway. But it's not everybody, but it is. But what scares me about our whole road system is that we're getting the surface good enough in most places that, hey, 80 is just comfortable and we'll try to go a little faster. But we don't have the shoulder that you'd have on a county or a other road. And you get 2 feet, 18 inches off of that hard surface and you're upside down in the ditch in many, many situations. And next thing we're going to be up to is building shoulders on all our roads. We're going to take a few lawsuits. And
Well, and it is
we'll spend a
unfortunate.
fortune building shoulders on these roads.
And it is
Go ahead.
unfortunate, we're making our roads smoother, obviously, so our residents don't have such a rough a ride, or
Oh, yeah.
especially those going to receive treatment of some kind. And,
Oh, yeah.
you get people that just don't want to follow the speed limit. They always seem to be in a rush, and no matter what the road condition is, I see it all the time. It is unfortunate.
Yeah, but you go on 401, if you drive 100 clicks on 401, there's just a stream of traffic going by you. So nobody, like, speed limits are sort of pretty much optional. It's the
If you
road
drive,
condition.
you drive 90 on County Road 30 out here, you're you're holding up traffic.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy out here, all the roads.
yeah. But that's, the smoother we make them, the faster we go.
Well,
And speed bumps don't work well in our climate.
and some good news, I guess. We've purchased and ordered 6 radar speed signs. And these ones are smaller, a little more deployable. So it's a little trickier in the rural area because we have to be careful where we put them so they're not stolen or damaged. So there will be some locations that maybe we can put some of those up and maybe make people aware that, you know, they're driving excessively high, and maybe try to encourage them to slow down.
But it's
But-
only a small percentage, but nevertheless, they're the ones you notice when they go, it
That's
just
right.
swish by and you don't get to hardly see what it is.
But in regards to your concern about some speed at your place particularly, I'll have a conversation with the manager of roads for Crammy Township and see what they have in place for signage on that side. And maybe there's some improvements we can do to maybe get the odd person to slow down and make it a little safer for you to go to get your mail.
Well, oh, come on now. But I mean, I say that, but then, you know, the other thing is, I don't know. It's.
They need to get the police on. They should show them where some of the side roads are. They
Well,
always
yeah.
stick to the main roads. They're always on 41 and 3rd. It's always
You
the
see,
other way.
Well, part of my problem is I go back to when Boundary Road, the township did not even plow the snow in the wintertime on Boundary Road. They only went as far as Clarence Reddick's house, and then from the south end, they came up as far as Roger Craig's. But above that, you were on your own all winter. And, you know, now it's hard surface and it's the bypass for Brighton. We get more traffic there in an hour, say from 7 till 8 in the morning. We get more traffic in that hour than we used to get in a whole week. Which is just,
Doug, you had something?
Doug, yeah.
Yes, I just wanted to talk about the gravel roads. And when I read the Director of Public Works update on gravel roads, he said we had a new grader and we were going to grade the roads. But is there anything in that budget or there that we're going to starting to add gravel to it so we can get a crown to the gravel roads?
So there's $25,000 in the budget every year for gravel. That involves crushing and screening to produce gravel that we can use. And we use some of that gravel on our gravel roads. I'm trying to get to a program where we get to them every other year to add gravel, because that's the program we should be on. But it's going to take a little longer than we'd hoped, because a lot of them are in worse condition than they should be. So adding more gravel doesn't solve all our problems. We have to get them ditched. We have to get the culverts cleaned out so that the drainage improves, so that it's worth the investment of adding gravel and improving that road surface, so that the base stabilizes and the potholes don't form as much. But until we get the drainage improved and get that base a little drier sooner, it's not worth the investment to put a lot of gravel on these roads. So we're going to try to be strategic this year and ditch a lot of these spots as best we can. We're also going to create a bunch of turnarounds in areas where we don't have sufficient room on the road to turn our trucks around. And in different spots, we're using private property, which is a liability I don't want us to be taking on. So there's a number of turnarounds that we're going to construct this year to keep our vehicles off private property and to provide a better level of service on those roads. Just like, and sorry, Councilor LeBlanc, there is, and some of those incidents, garbage trucks can't turn around at the end of the roads either. And Vicari Road is an example of that. So we can't easily construct a turnaround at the end of that road. So I made arrangements with the one property owner, and they gave permission and consent to the contractor and the county. They've signed all the documents for the garbage trucks to use their entrance as the turnaround. So now Vicari Road gets a garbage and recycling pickup. So that was one little improvement. Now that's kind of a rare thing where the residents will step up and offer that. But luckily, this one property owner is the driver of a transport, and their driveway is built to a standard well above what we need for a larger truck to turn around on. So that's kind of a lucky one. But these other roads, they need proper turnarounds so that we can get them proper servicing from these garbage trucks and recycling trucks, and also our maintenance equipment in the wintertime.
What about the one on Donaldson Road?
That's a development happening there where the property owner has to provide land for a turnaround. I don't know all the particulars on that, but there will be an improved turnaround at the end of Donaldson Road when that consent file is complete.
Does he have to pay for the turnaround or just provide the property?
I'm sorry, I don't know the particulars of that severance file.
Right.
That's under a different department, but I do know we're getting the property for a turnaround. I do know that for sure.
Right. Right. Okay. Just wondered. What about,
Well-
sorry, brushing, or go ahead, Bob.
No, the one other thing, there was an email that went past here about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago on grant money for replacing culverts in the rural. And you were mentioning replacing culverts on the gravel roads. Do you know if we're applying, Director, for any of that grant money for doing our culverts and our rural roads?
I don't remember seeing any grant money for replacing culverts. But we try to apply for everything we can. It's difficult with resources because there's a huge amount of time that goes into developing those grant applications. So we try to focus on our biggest bang for the dollar. I don't recall seeing that. I look at the CAO's email, he sends it every week, but I don't remember seeing any grant specific to culvert replacement.
It was
Yeah,
for
it's-
bridges.
Bridges and culverts and stuff.
I thought it
I
was
read
just bridges. I didn't read culverts, but I did
Yeah,
see about for
culverts in the-
bridges.
In the rural area and culverts.
Oh, I can take a look.
Yeah, I do remember the one for bridges and large culverts, which we don't have many of, thankfully.
Is that it? You got Preston?
Yeah, if nobody else has any questions?
What, the brushing, is that a summertime thing or can you? For the most part?
So we were able to get a little bit in January. We didn't get as much production as we'd hoped. But
Because of the weather. Because of the
yeah,
weather, I'm sure.
it was a couple of things. So once we start into road construction, so we could do a little bit of brushing when the weather kind of permits in the spring before we can get into any kind of road excavation and half loads are off. And then we'll be focused fully on the surface treating program. I want that done by the end of June, the first week of July, so we can roll over and do nothing but brushing, ditching, and culverts July, August, and September.
Very good. Yep. No, I just, I'm not an expert by any means. I just thought in the winter when the things are frozen, you could probably do brushing without sinking.
Yeah, and we did. We deployed out on 3 different roads. Then we had a mechanical situation, so the machine was down for a couple of weeks waiting parts and repair. And then we lost that opportunity because the snow came and the snow was too deep in the ditches. And yeah, so unfortunately we didn't gain as much as we wanted to.
Great. All right, thank you very much, Preston.
No problem.
6-2, recreation facilities opening. And could I throw in outside arenas, how's that coming? And maybe Mark could give us an update on that.
Probably not the best to speak to the outdoor rinks and stuff because I don't even think they're operating. Well, they might be now that it dropped in temperature, but I don't have any information on that, Sam.
No, I just wondered, did you hear
I think the
anything?
rinks, yeah, I think the rinks are out. They're back in operable again. Now, Sam, did you see the email that we got from Jim Miller about the facilities?
I did.
Okay. So, I mean, once these are all lifted, we're gonna be back into the facilities again. So I think you're questioning for the halls and
Right.
the markets and everything, and yeah, and so we should be back into full production. Jim was saying after March 1st
Right.
for our facilities. It's just going to take some time to get them back up and opening and whatnot. But yeah, so everything should be flowing again soon.
Right. Good. Thank you. And yeah, sorry, Mark, I was just wondering, I used that of curiosity, or I guess, how did the outdoor rinks with the temperatures, they must have got used.
I think they did. Again, I can't really speak to it because I missed a good chunk of that.
Yeah, I know, I realize, but okay,
I think they got utilized from what I heard. So.
Jessica hasn't.
I saw Jim Miller today, and he did mention that the rinks are up and running again. And there was, I saw a post on our Facebook page as well, that they are up and running again.
Right.
We had more, Jim was saying that we had more outside of our municipality, people coming to use our rinks than what we did for our own municipal residents.
Right. Oh, that's good. Very good.
Every time that I went to the rink, and probably 6 times, they were from Coburg, Crammy, Belleville, and Trenton. There wasn't one resident from Brighton. And a couple of Sundays ago, there was probably 16, 17 people, and with their children, and they were all from outside.
Yeah.
But I stopped and talked to them.
And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
That's not a bad thing, though.
No, I actually went over to use the one at Castleton just because I've heard so much about it, and I keep saying I'm going to go over, and I never did. So actually, I went over a week ago and through the week, myself and another couple other people.
Yeah, they have a beautiful outdoor rink. They have 2, but they also have a Zamboni.
They have 3. They have 3
Oh,
plus
are there 3 going now? Yeah.
plus the cribbage rink. There's actually 4.
But you have to remember too, that is not a municipal property. That's private property. That's volunteers. They have a Zamboni. You know what I mean? Like, that's not anything to do with the municipality. The municipality will get, if they ask for grants, they will give grants or funding to help out, but it's not municipal.
Right. Yeah, they got some fair bit of money donated.
Yeah, they do from a whole bunch of other areas like Enbridge. I believe there was John Mutton, who was a former mayor for Clarington, donated a big chunk of money to them this year. So they get lots of fundings.
It was there was some funding from one of the service clubs, I think in Peterborough, like $10,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Plus Dave Pecuniary's, they donated, I think, too.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all good. 6-3, Loomis. Old news. Some of the stuff I had down from which we were going to have our meeting a while back. But anyways, if nobody had heard, we're actually going to get a bridge over at Loomis, along with the Thompson Bridge on Skinkle Road, which I think precipitated the one on Loomis, in my understanding, because there's so much uproar over not being able to replace the one on Skinkle that they went ahead to do the one on Skinkle. And I'm going to assume that they figured they couldn't do that one without doing the Loomis Bridge. So anyways, to me, that's good news living out here, because I can't believe, like I said before, after 100 years, basically, it's not in the program to replace these bridges. They know they're not going to last forever. Instead of just closing, to me, it's, as I said before, our forefathers, they built these bridges. So surely we could keep them up and maintain them, or replace them after 100 years. Anyway, any idea, Preston, when that bridge might get replaced? Is like next year or year after?
To be honest, the only information I have is what I read in the newspaper.
Right.
I've heard nothing at all on what size they plan on building, what type, when, nothing at all.
Our snowmobile club, or the OFSC, went to battle with to help the one on Skinkle Road, the Thompson Bridge, because that's a main thoroughfare for the snowmobile club to go to Campbellford. Not just for our little local club, it makes it goofs up the whole loop from Rice Lake all wherever you want to go in Ontario for one trail. Anyways, so we lobbied with the farmers to try and get them to, because they were just going to close that bridge, and thank you very much, go around Highway 30 with all the grain wagons and everything else. Anyways, we're kind of happy that it came about, as well as the one over here. Anyway,
It certainly is good news.
all right. 8-1, correspondence. Anybody want to speak on that? On the letter from the OMA. Anybody?
Is that the one? Is that the one on the plastic? Is that the one on the plastic?
No,
No,
no.
no, that's the one that came from, that was addressed to Bob.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And it's about the Ontario Wildlife Damage Compensation Program, and it's just saying about how we're gonna get paid $50 for administration costs.
Yeah, that's about the
It went
only
up from
story there.
30 to 50, and that doesn't even cover, that doesn't cover the cost for the evaluator to go out. So, woo!
Right. Who is our evaluator for?
So we did have Ed Van Egmond. He
Right,
was
okay.
doing it, but he just retired from doing livestock. So we are now having our bylaw officer. He will be
Okay,
doing
that's
it.
what you're talking. Okay, I just
Yes.
got halfway into it earlier.
Yep.
So basically, it's like a lot of other things. If you could, they bombard you with paperwork, and if you're diligent enough to do the paperwork, you might get something in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
But usually, the paperwork outweighs.
So the paperwork, actually, the evaluator does the paperwork for you. You don't have to
Right.
do it. So the evaluator will come out with the applications, get your numbers, your farm numbers and whatever, and your signature. They take pictures, they go through the application with you real quickly, and then they submit everything to me.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So now we're on to the
Bill
boat wrap.
8-2. So who would like to speak on that?
Well, I can a bit. I've been working with the bail wrap people for probably 3 years. And we've picked up a lot of bail wrap. We've reused a whole bunch. We've repelletized it using a deoxygenation unit. And the company out of Belleville that makes the majority of the bail wrap for Ontario, basically we're working with them so they can use some of the recycled bail wrap. And they passed it, they can use 20% in making their bail wrap of recycled bail wrap. And also right now, we are working on the process to blend bail wrap with 56 other non-recyclable products to make bricks, stones, and different type of products with Chrysler and GM. I approached the county recycling about 3-4 years ago, and they kicked me out of the door, wouldn't talk to me. So basically, I don't let too many people know. I'll let them know in this committee right here what we're doing, but that's about as far as it goes. And when the county did come to see me to work with them on plastic, I ended up by getting a letter that I had to apologize to the CAO in Northumberland County. So basically, that's not going to go anywhere with me in my company anymore. just to let you know.
So I had a quick question, Doug. Because
Yes.
I don't know about this stuff, but what at the recycling plant facility, I mean, they want kids to recycle a plastic straw, which when they had them at the school. And so obviously they're recycling that. Why can't, is that stuff not recyclable at the recycling?
It's all
plant?
recyclable. It's only a matter of cost to have it sorted. And we worked with them. We brought about 15 bins of product that should be recycled at like when we work with Frontenac, they have 5 stalls. And you go to, and the pictures are all there, made out of concrete. And the people go put their plastics in each one of the stalls so that when we go pick it up, it's already sorted. But
Right.
when it comes from the county, they just wanted it to throw it in a bin, and they wanted us to do all the labor, them get paid $130 a ton, and it just didn't work for us. We'd love to recycle it, but it has to be a two-way street to work. So basically, we come to the agreement that Northumberland County Recycling and Tri-County Plastic could not work together. But I work with Waterloo, Guelph, Frontenac, City of Kingston, City of Belleville, City of Trenton, but just can't make ends meet with them. So basically, you come to a point, you just walk away.
Right.
Yep. But the farm wraps is all being recycled. We can do it, most of it. Yeah.
So where's the farm wrap going right now? Is it going to the
Right now, some of the
County?
farmers are burning it. Some of them are baling it with a farmer out of the county. I forget what his name is. He got a baler. It's being made at the prison in Napanee and in Kingston. They're being made. It's a wooden baler. They're putting them all out, and they're getting the bales. When we get the bales, we pay about 5 cents a pound because it covers the cost of the farmer paying $900 for the baler, where he can use his tractor to bale and squeeze out the air. Ends up by being about $900 pounds to a bale, and basically that covers the cost of the farmer to do the cost of the baling and the stuff, and then basically it's picked up.
So the farmers that are using, so they have to buy their own baler to bale it?
Yeah, they bale it from I forget what his name is from. He's from the county that makes them.
So a smaller farmer that's not using a lot is not going to get a baler, so it's just going to go in the garbage.
Yeah, probably. Or sometimes some farmers have 10 to 20 bales a year. Some of them only end up with half a bale. It takes them 2 years to get a bale, but at least it's not going to landfill. It's like, and with us, it doesn't matter if it has the string on it. It doesn't matter if it's dirty, because it all goes in, because we add sand to the mix to give it weight. And if you want to see, just come down to the plant when I'm down next week. I'll show it to you all. I'll show you all the lumber, the stuff we make for the lobster traps and everything else. All 56 different types of non-recyclable plastic. Just come and see me. I'll give you a tour.
Well, which day do you want us? I'd love to go on your tour, but if you pick the time, then
take Wednesday next week.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
What?
Come on in.
What time?
10 o'clock.
Gotcha.
Okay, come on in, Joe.
I always understood that cleanliness was a big problem with that stuff.
Well, yeah, but not with the new process that's been developed. We add sand to us. We add sand to it. You'll see the products that we make, that we're making with it, and what we're doing with it. So, and the first prototype, like we can do it by batch, but now we're doing a continuous flow that I'm building right now.
Okay, now you're getting somewhere. Yeah, but
Yeah,
my son used to take bale wrap from my place to New Hamburg.
Yep.
So like, I mean, people are more than willing to recycle this stuff, but I always understood that there was nearly always too much mud, manure, or silage stuck to it. And it's kind of sticky stuff anyway.
Joe, the guy from New Hamburg, he got a $3 million grant about 5 years ago. He built in the middle of farm country without looking at the power available in the grid, and without having the transformers to run 600 horsepower extruders. So
Yeah.
what it is, he had to, whenever he would run, he would black out most of the municipalities
Oh,
around him. And so what
I'm
it is,
aware that it wasn't a success.
yeah, he had to put in his own generator and everything else. So some people have great ideas, but they gotta look at it all, and he didn't look at it all. So that's what happened.
But I
there.
was just pointing out, people are eager to recycle this stuff.
Oh.
And it was downright crazy. David would bring cattle here and then we'd chuck all the bale wrap in the livestock trailer. And of course, by the time it got to New Hamburg, it had lots of manure on it, but they seemed to take it anyway.
So if
No problem,
a
Joe.
person had a bunch of clean plastic from wood shavings that you go through a lot of on a farm, you could actually package those up and bring them down to your facility, Doug?
Not a problem.
Without buying a
No.
baler.
No, we like the binder and the baler. It's plastic. It goes right in.
Well, I realize that, but I'm gonna say average Joe's not gonna buy a baler.
No, just
So-
bring it in. Just
Right.
make sure we have the space and the time. Just bring it in. Not a problem.
Perfect.
10 o'clock on Wednesday.
I can't make it. I'd love to come down, but I can't. I'm going Manitoulin and snowmobiling.
Hmm.
I'll make it another time. Welcome, Kathy.
Thanks, Sam.
Oh. Well, hello.
And I had for my other my meeting, which was a long time ago, maybe Jessica or Candace could pass it on, that I was gonna say, we missed, it's been a pleasure working with Tom. And we're sorry to see him leave, but that's a long time ago now. But
Yeah, he left in December. Yeah.
if somebody wants to, see Jessica, you could send him a quick email and say,
I ask him many questions regularly, so I can
there you go.
definitely
Just
throw
tell him
that in there.
sorry to see him go, but we understand that things change. And glad to see yourself. Anybody have anything else to add? Mark? I can't hear you.
You're muted, Mark.
Yeah,
Mark, you're muted.
Sorry, I just wanted to apologize to Jessica because I think I confused her because I was signing into a second device so I could drop from the other meeting and get onto my regular tablet. So it looked like there's two Marks trying to join. So sorry about that, Jessica.
Wanted to double check.
Yeah, not a problem.
does this Mark have anything to add to our meeting before we close?
I would like to add one thing.
Wait, it's not your turn. I was asking Mark.
Oh, okay.
No,
I'll wait after
Right,
Now,
Brian.
you be careful.
I have one thing to add. Don't let Doug add.
Go ahead.
Okay, Doug, you got the
Doug, go
floor.
ahead.
Oh, there was an email that went from Jessica. I think I read it this week or last week about the farm. They're having the farming thing that we had.
The farm
that-
forum that they had last year. I attended
Yeah.
that, Doug, virtually, and it's going to be virtual again.
Is it going to be virtual again?
I think that's what the email had indicated. Yes.
Yeah, okay then. Because I was just wondering if it wasn't virtual, that somebody could go to it this year. It may be lifted.
I think at this meeting, if somebody wanted to volunteer to attend it virtually, if anybody's available. It was the one I attended last year, I forwarded to everybody. It was a very interesting meeting. Long, but interesting.
Yeah.
Would that be something you'd be interested in, Joe? Is it your
Yeah,
farmer?
yeah, if we got the particulars of when it is,
I'm sure Jessica could help inform you.
hey, go for it.
Maybe not right now, but
No, I don't know what Doug's talking about, so I can't.
I think that I had you send it out, Jessica. We'll take a look tomorrow. at
Okay,
work
I'll
for
have
that.
to search my emails then. I
Well,
remember the two letters and stuff that I attached to the agenda. I don't remember.
So it's a
about-
farm forum.
Okay,
It covers a
I'll try and
wide
find it.
variety of topics and runs for, I think, last year when I attended, it was a good 3 hours with little breaks in between with a wide variety of guest speakers on planning in the agriculture area, a whole bunch of different topics. Some you might find really interesting, some might not interest you, but you just have to be prepared to be there for a long time. And sometimes they have breakouts as well, but it was a very interesting forum.
And
Bobby,
it is virtual though.
Yes,
So it's through
Yeah.
Zoom meets.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty
Okay.
sure this year's is virtual again.
That can be
it
an
is.
advantage. I mean, if they're talking about something that doesn't interest you, you don't have
Walk
to
away.
you don't have to excuse yourself when you step on other people's feet to leave.
Mhm.
I think we had this a few years ago. I was all set up and authorized to go when COVID shut everything down.
Right.
But the thing is, with anything to do with farming, I really think a lot of folk don't understand, like, okay, if I stop keeping my 16-year-old bull, the guy across the road instantly will apply for 2 building lots. And I don't know what that's worth, but I mean, he should be willing to pay me quite well to not keep my bull in the barn that's too close to those lots. If, he wanted to sever it. And I know of another spot just down the road where they looked into, had a planner check, and I teed up the guy across the road that keeps some cattle to definitely not play down the number of animal units he has, because and he was forced to build his barn way back from the road because somebody might want to build a house on the other side, and farming gets squeezed out. Farming gets squeezed out without anybody really intending it to happen. There's out of University of Waterloo, just in the last couple of weeks, I got a survey. They want to know why more farmers don't plant windbreaks and look after their woodlots. And like I'm saying to myself, I guess those guys don't get out for a drive very often. I mean, a farmer has to give up 7 or 8, maybe 10 rows of corn in order to plant proper windbreak. And now he's stuck with a reduced selection of weed control chemicals because he doesn't want to kill the trees. Now, something like 80% of the benefit goes to the general public, but he's got all the, loses the income, and you just shake your head. You don't have to think about it very long to know why was a farmer looking after a woodlot. In days past, if he wanted to build something, he'd cut some logs and saw them up, but good grief, by the time you get them all graded, and an engineer would have to, satisfy himself much cheaper to go to the lumberyard. And people wonder why the woodlot has become almost a detriment to a rural property, unless you're a guy from the city that just wants it for, status. It's a chuckle, but inevitably the agricultural activity is squeezed out. So it's just
Mark,
fun.
Mark, do you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the Farmland Forum. I don't know, maybe for you, Candace. I was just looking at it and I resent it back to you, Jessica. It does happen on March 24th. It is virtually. You have to register and there is a fee for it. So if somebody does want to attend, they'll want to make sure that they can attend. I think it's a $50 registration fee to attend virtually. So, and then you have a rural budget, so that would have to be a decision of this committee, I would assume, to pick somebody. So, and it's on March 24th, so there's not a whole lot
March
of time.
24th. Don't think I'm going to be any place there.
Do we need a motion to spend that money, or just have Joe attend?
Yeah, you can do a motion to do that.
Okay.
You good for that? We're good with that, Joe?
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Who's moving that?
I'll move it.
Doug?
Doug, Kathy,
And
second.
seconded by
I'll second.
Kathy? Okay. Yep, that's fine.
Very good.
Okay,
Thank you.
you'll be in touch with the. I don't plan on going anywhere, so I guess you'll be able to find me.
If you're anything
Jessica
like
or
me,
I
I'll
will
help
send it
you.
out to you. Yeah.
If you're anything like me, I'll send it to
Yeah, but
his
you
wife
see-
so she can get it set up.
You see, Bateman was smart. He didn't have the committee pay, so he didn't have to report to us.
Actually, I sent out the farmland forum. What I had done is I asked them to forward me the whole presentation after the fact because it was recorded, like we're doing with this Zoom meeting, and then it was sent out. I sent it to Mr. Street, and Tom sent it out to all the rural advisory committee members. Probably got lost in your inbox. But everybody has last year's. If you want to take a look at, you can see ahead of time. It'll be different but similar, different speakers and different topics, but.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Okay.
Kathy, do you have anything to add do you have anything to add about, say, the rink at the community center? Did it get used? All going good, or anything to add before we go?
Say that again, please. Sam?
Anything from the community center to add about the arena or anything?
The items on the agenda.
I didn't receive an agenda. I didn't even receive an invite. So
What?
that's why Mark sent me invite.
What's your email? I most definitely sent it to,
Somebody else.
apparently, but hold on. You know what? I don't want to say it out loud because we're live, but
We'll check later. We'll check tomorrow with you, Kathy. Just make sure we've got the proper email.
Sorry, Kathy. Yeah.
sorry about that.
That's okay.
So anything, you got anything to add, or you got all good?
The only thing I'd say is that LeBlanc should get a new hat. That lampshade that he's been wearing for this meeting just isn't becoming.
I'm in the Frontenac Hotel on the 17th floor, gold floor in Quebec City. And
Good for
tomorrow
you.
we're going mushing dogs, and we just went on a toboggan run at 75 miles an hour today, my wife and I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Life is dull, I see.
I have a quick question, if you
Go
don't
ahead.
mind.
No, go ahead.
I know that at one of the meetings, we were discussing meeting dates and about changing it from Thursdays to Wednesdays because of long weekends and different things like that. I remember Justin Dorland, he had mentioned it. Is anybody opposed to doing the meetings on the Wednesday instead of the Thursday?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Oh,
No.
okay with,
That's fine? Okay,
That's
so
fine.
we will change it to the Wednesday, the same week, but not Thursday, just Wednesday. And we'll do Wednesday at 7.
on what date?
The next meeting,
Yeah.
do you want to wait until April? And we will be completely everybody will be attending, and hopefully we can be down at the community center in Codrington or at the fire hall.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's if we don't end up with another wave of COVID.
Well, let's hope not. And
let's hope not.
what
Well,
I'm
we
thinking
all-
too then, Joe, then you will have already attended that farm forum
Oh, hey, then we'll have
And-
something to put on the agenda.
and we'll have something to put on
You
the
have
agenda.
to try and short form it though, Joe, for us.
Oh, which?
You have to
you-
try and short form it.
Oh, yeah, well, I might fall asleep, so we'll skip that part.
Get your wife to fill in when you're sleeping.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
All
There it
right.
is.
Yeah.
I just forwarded you the email I sent to Miss Tom Street, the replay of the farm forum from
Okay.
2021. So if you want to send it out to the committee, you can, or if
Okay.
somebody wants to request it from you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what is the date for the April?
Oh, I'm not sure. Hold on.
It doesn't matter. We can, as long as Kathy gets it next time.
I think April 5th would be the Wednesday.
And not 5th, Be
Be the 27th.
Oh, it's, yeah, you were later in the week, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
April 27th. Okay,
All right, thank you very much. Need a motion to adjourn, I guess?
No, I would have two questions.
Ooh, good.
Go ahead.
One, since Kathy wasn't here, Kathy, I brought up the north side of your road going past you, that it was very bumpy, that has just been resurfaced. Do you find the same thing?
Actually,
She's
no,
driving slow.
Or you gotta drive it slow? Okay, then.
it's a mess.
I thought so, yeah. It's a mess.
Yeah.
The other question, for the farmer's market, did you get your permit for setting up for this summer yet from the county?
Actually, she got a hold of us and she gave us permission, yes, and she's going to send us a letter so that we can send it on to Alan.
Because that affects,
From the county.
that's a big thing in the rural area you said being set up there. It's a great meeting spot at noon hour.
Yeah, that is. So, but yeah, so we did get the okay with the county. She has absolutely no problems with it and, you know, compliments and stuff like that. So that was a good thing too.
Yeah.
So, she's just got to send a letter to Alan and then, everything's paid for and everything. We're just waiting for her to send to this Alan the letter. So.
Thank you.
Very
Good.
good.
okay.
All right. Need a motion to adjourn?
Okay, I'll move we adjourn.
Yes.
Seconder? Doug?
All right. Thank you
very
much.
much, everyone.
Have a good night.